This is not your typical episode of Carroll's Cadence. Nah. For the first time in show history, we have a guest. A massive guest. Your eyes do not deceive you. It's exactly who you think it is. So without further ado, introducing a 6'2", 225-pound signal caller out of Willis, Texas, with a cannon for a right arm, enough velocity on the football to push through any window he wants to. He's equally creative and elusive in the face of pressure, keeps his eyes downfield when on the run, can place the ball in the breadbasket, whether he's sitting in the pocket or on the move. Simply, bro can spin it. And not to mention, he's underrated when it comes to his ability to just get up out of there with his legs. He's a great football player, and from what I know of him, an even greater person. He's the face of the Florida Gators' future. Welcome to the show, 2024 quarterback commit, DJ Lagway. How's it going, DJ?
I'm glad to be here. I appreciate it.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, first time we've had a guest on Carroll's Cadence, so I'm really excited to just kind of talk to you and hear your thoughts on you, your game, Florida, everything like that. So before we get into it, I just want to take a second to tell everyone to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and just drop some love for Mr. Lagway here. Just obviously, a lot of people are really interested to see what DJ can do at the next level, but there's a lot that goes into what DJ has become behind the scenes. There's a lot of work that's went into it. And I know I gave a brief summary of your game to introduce you, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on you and your game, because I'm big into a self-evaluation, self-awareness. I treat what I do here very similar to, a quarterback. I want to watch everything. I want to watch others, try to just gather information, kind of equate it to film study for a signal caller. So in the spirit of that, as someone that's probably very interested in watching himself back, watching others trying to learn, how would you describe your game and how have you kind of evolved from when you first started?
I'd say I describe my game as elusive, like both running and throwing. I feel like I could throw it 70 yards down the field or even run it 70 yards down the field, So I feel like I'm very elusive in those areas. But I feel like I've developed a lot on my passing game because, I've just really recently started playing quarterback, like really 7th grade year. I actually started to focus on quarterback and not getting training till after my freshman year. So I feel like just continue to develop on that aspect of my game.
Absolutely. And one of your calling cards, at least from what I've seen in your game, is just your ability to throw off platform, your ability to just put it in the air no matter where your feet are. It's very similar to I don't want to throw out a comparison to Patrick Mahomes, but that's the guy that's kind of the standard right now for quarterback play. He's changed the game in that regard. What do you feel allows you to be able to do that at such a high level? And do you kind of have anything to attribute it to?
I'd say really just my baseball background, just throwing off platform, especially with that, just happened naturally to me. But I'd just say a lot of hard work and just continuous grind with me and my QB coach, just to perfect those type of things. And also working on just the mechanical stuff inside the pocket and all those good stuff.
Definitely. And mechanics have been something that I've seen just from what I've watched on tape. Obviously, I came out to Elite 11, got to watch you there. It's something that's continuously improved. Where do you feel you're at right now with those mechanics?
I feel like I'm in a good spot right now, but it's always room for development, so I'm just really taking it one day at a time, just trying to get better each and every day. Definitely.
And you're still playing baseball, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. You're still planning to play collegiately as well?
Yes, sir, I do. I plan on playing.
Gotcha. So with that transition from baseball to football, there's a lot that kind of ties in, especially at the quarterback position. Like you said, it's what you attribute your ability to throw off platform. I'm sure it has a lot to do with your arm strength, just growing up playing that game. What do you see as like the biggest benefit for a young quarterback playing baseball, if that's something that they want to do?
I'd say just the different arm slots and all that good stuff, and just knowing how to play different sports. That's like very helpful. Like even hitting, for example, like that's like even more a comparison of than a pitcher, like for a quarterback. So I'd say just really playing it and like just starting up as a young kid, doing that type of stuff, it's going to make being a quarterback more natural and easier.
For sure. What do you think of with hitting? What translates there?
Just the weight transfer, like the weight transfer and then the hip turn and all that good stuff. But I'd say like at a shortstop turning too. Like I feel like that's all like with the arm slots, different things and all that good stuff. But I feel like it all correlates very well.
Gotcha. And one thing, obviously, there's a lot that goes into playing the quarterback position. It's the hardest position in football, from just whether it's a mental aspect, a physical aspect. There's so much that goes into preparing and building as a quarterback at the high school level, jumps at the college level, and then again once you get to the pros. What do you feel like's been the most challenging aspect of just preparing to be a quarterback? Because you have to have the leadership skills and the intangibles off the field, as well as the strong arm, the accuracy, and some of those traits as well on the field.
I would say just really the hardest thing is winning over the locker room, because it's like so many different players, so many different cliques, so many groups, and you got to be able to relate to everybody. So I feel like that's like one of the hardest things that people don't really realize, that like having a teammates to buy in for you and ready to run through a wall. But once you got that, you got a really good team. So I feel like just getting your teammates involved and teammates active and feeling like they're, and having a really great relationship with them is through the roof.
Without a doubt. And, like you said earlier, there's still always room to grow.
Yes, sir.
On the field, where do you feel that what are you tweaking the most? Obviously, you're getting into the season, but this off season, what was kind of the point, focal point of you and your quarterback coach, JP Tillman?
I would say just overall with all like my QB coaches, like Coach JP, my high school coach, even Coach O'Hara, just really looking at the defense, being more of a student of the game, and just knowing where the weak spots are of the defense. So just really knowing where the defense is going to be before. It's just a lot of mental stuff. I'd say I really improved on, especially since from last year.
For sure. Just speaking of growth, I was, in my preparation for this show, I've watched your tape more than any prospect I've ever watched, just because I feel like I keep crossing. I don't want to say I keep crossing your path, but I keep coming to times where like I'm going to see you, or I'm talking about you, I'm writing about you, and so I consistently just dive back in to get a refresher of what how talented you are and the things that you do well. And an area of growth from your sophomore to junior year was just your completion percentage. Saw a 12% percentage point jump from 55% to 67%. Do you have anything that really went into that, and like how do you think that translates this year to even increase that again? Just putting the balls in the right spots to be able to ensure that you're completing passes at a high rate.
I would just say like just me growing up like an overall quarterback, like just mechanically wise, and just knowing the game more. Just knowing like the coverages, like because my sophomore year I'm just out there guessing, just playing football. But like my junior year, having a better understanding of where players are going to be, and now this year I know exactly where everybody's going to be before it happens. But I'd say like, and plus having an ankle injury too, that really limited a lot of my running capabilities. So I feel like I had to make something happen with the pocket, making throws. So I feel like it was a blessing and a curse with that. But I'll just say everything happened for a reason. I'm just completely grateful for everything.
For sure. And with you having that opportunity, because it is an opportunity, even though it was an injury, to kind of fall back on the ability to sit in the pocket and just rip the ball from, just allow your line of scrimmage to take care of what, your offensive line to take care of what they need to take care of, and make the passes necessary from the pocket to help Willis win. And just kind of having that, how do you feel like you can take that this year and then kind of build on it based off just your ability to scramble and your ability to create? Because that's one of the best things that you do. You're a creator. I feel like there's a lot of times where when things go haywire, when the pocket collapses, you're able to get out and make a throw downfield. It happened plenty of times in your spring tape. First like 4 or 5 plays, it was just you scrambling and putting one on dot on a rope to guys deep downfield. How does that, help you moving forward to just be able to do both of those things, because they're so difficult to do when they're one or another, but to combine the two is something that you kind of need when you're moving from high school to college.
That's what I'm excited for this year, just to put it all together. Just, I got everybody back, got my whole receiving core, whole offensive line. So I'm just really excited to get out there and put everything together and just let things happen.
Definitely. And kind of, not necessarily switching gears here, but just looking and projecting for your move forward. University of Florida, the offense is, it's one that it's different. Like, and it may not be different for you, but it's different from what Florida fans have become accustomed to. Very run heavy, very methodical at points, but it has those little hints of deep shots and things like that. How do you feel you fit into this Florida offense that Billy Napier operates, and where can you see yourself kind of, excelling when you arrive at Florida? I see
that I fit very well in the offense. I just, like, for example, watching AR like this past year, see what he did and just seeing what I could do in it. It was very helpful to watch him do what he did.
Yeah. Did you take anything away from him just seeing him operate in that offense this year? Because, there was a lot that he did, even though, it was his first year as a starter. What did you learn just seeing him operate that? And really Florida's, it was their first year operating it in general, but you had a pretty nice example at signal caller for you.
Oh, yes, sir. It was pretty neat, to seeing like a player that's kind of like built like me and does the same things that I do, especially fitting the offense. So it was very exciting to see that. And just the things that he did in the offense was very exceptional.
Without a doubt. That exceptional is a great word to describe Anthony Richardson, especially as he takes this next jump. Because he's showing out in Indianapolis. It shows that quarterbacks can have success in this offense, can have success in this system, and eventually move on to that next level. But actually switching gears this time, the offseason away from kind of high school, the system that's ran within, your high school offense is really getting to the point, if not already at the point, where it's just as important for development for especially quarterbacks and skill position players, because you have 7-on-7 tournaments, skill position camps, positional retreats, etc. And so the game has shifted to being a year-round commitment, but also just it's a year-round sport. Football is no longer a fall sport. Yes, it is 365 days a year. And so one thing that you experienced this year was you had the opportunity to go to Elite 11 finals in Redondo Beach, California. I enjoyed watching you there. Was really ecstatic just to get to go see you in person. And I'm sure it was a special opportunity for you as well, just getting that chance to go and compete with some of those elite tier passers and the quarterback coaches that were there, like George Whitfield and Quincy Avery. What was that experience like for you? And what did you learn during your time with the other passers, the, counselors or coordinators, whatever they called them, and Whitfield and Avery and things like that?
It was something surreal that I thought like it was a blessing to be there first off. But I learned so much on and off the field. I was surprised I learned so much off the field that I was like, it was amazing. Like the things that we did off the field was pretty cool. And just the relationship I built with the other quarterbacks, it was crazy. Like we still text to this day, like, so we still have a group chat, still texting. But it's just like, it's like a brotherhood. I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah. Who's someone from that time that like necessarily stood out to you? Maybe it was another quarterback that you were getting to go compete against, or, just someone involved in the teaching of the quarterback position, just in general. What was something that, or someone that kind of stands out to you now and you're like, yeah, I have a good connection with that guy now?
I'd say, from the beginning, Jaden Davis, I've always had a good relationship with him, but like just being down there, going through the same process that me and him did, it was pretty cool. But I feel like I have a good relationship with Jaden. For
sure. And I talked about quarterback coaches that were there, and I would be doing a disservice if I didn't talk about the great quarterback coach that you have in your corner, JP Tillman, the QB tech, someone that I had the opportunity to meet and talk to, and he just was wonderful. So what's it been like learning from him and just having your game transform under his tutelage? Because I know, like you said, you started playing quarterback in 7th grade, really didn't start training seriously till a few years after that. So just having JP guide you, what does that process look like?
Man, it's been a blessing, you know, to have Coach JP in my corner. You know, since day one, he's taught me everything I know. And I'm just really blessed, like, for real. Like, I'm glad he came into my life. I'm glad God made us cross paths, because without him, I wouldn't have what I have right now. So I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah, and I know he was talking to me. He said he's one that likes to participate. He's going to step out there and he's going to spin the pigskin some on occasion. Yeah. Y'all have some friendly competition out there, and what does that look like?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. We'll be having some competition. You know, sometimes I get him, sometimes he gets me. But, yeah, I'm getting closer to him. Yes,
That's sick. That's sick. That is what makes it fun, when you're able to kind of not just have someone instructing you, but also doing it with you and just making it enjoyable. Having someone that, you know, not only is like your coach, but you can bond with, because that's part of the game. Those relationships, that's football.
Yes, sir.
And whether it's your QB trainer, your coach, whatever, it's those friendly competitions are something you're going to remember, even though they're not necessarily like parts of the game itself.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. What is something that, like, do you have any, like, a story based off, you know, something that y'all have, like a competition y'all had or anything like that? I know there was one point where he did something like he was eyes closed or blindfolded.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, yes. We did a little competition. Like it was a dig, backside dig, and it was like no look. We were playing horse. We were playing pig actually, and I ended up throwing it looking like the other way, and I threw it and I completed it. And I was like, "You up?" And he ended up closing his eyes and hitting it. So it's like, you know, it was pretty cool experience.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. That makes it so fun. I remember, I mean, I haven't played in quite some time, but that was always like some of the best parts, just that individual one-on-one stuff with someone who's been through the process, someone that knows, you know, what it takes to get there. And not just him. I had the opportunity to meet your dad as well at Elite 11, and I'll just say I am someone that firmly believes that 9 times out of 10, you are a direct reflection of the people you surround yourself by.
Yes, sir.
And those two are great men. They are great people, great men, great role models to look up to. And I know we talked a bit about JP being in your corner, but what has it meant to have both of them just as kind of people you can look up to, people that can guide you throughout this journey? Because you've had a long journey to this point, but what's it been like having them two?
You know, it's been a blessing. You know, most people don't have a dad in their life, so I'm extremely grateful for that. So it's a blessing to have two, you know, great men in my life. So I'm just thankful.
For sure. And let's talk a little bit more about that journey that you've been able to have. You know, like you said, I'm sure it feels like it's gone by super fast. Because, you know, you started playing football, or you started playing quarterback in 7th grade. But you look at this time last year, you were in the thick of it. Looking for a school you should call home for the next 3 to 4 years. You had Lincoln Riley, an offensive savant, one of the best quarterback track records in college football right now. Dabo Sweeney, Jimbo Fisher, Billy Napier, and plenty of other coaches knocking at your door. I'm sure it was overwhelming at that time trying to figure out how am I going to tell this guy no? How am I going to, you know, do little things like that? But what did the process of eventually choosing Florida look like for you?
You know, it was a really hard decision. You know, I had to lean on God and my family for sure. But it's just like, it was overall like, where can I get the top development that I need, that I feel like, because I've been in all types of meetings. You know, I've been in Coach Napier's like meetings with the quarterbacks. I've been with like Lincoln Riley with the quarterbacks. I've been with all types of quarterback meetings, but like it was just different about Florida. Like I say this all the time. Like when I first went to the practice, they were like saying some like lingo stuff. Like it was like sounded like it was some NFL stuff. I was like, I don't know what that is, but I got to learn that. So that was kind of like the selling point on that. Like it just seems like it's going to get me ready for the NFL for the next level. And that's what I'm extremely excited for.
Yeah, man, that's always the goal. That's the it. I feel like a lot of guys, have that approach of, all right, what's going to get me ready for the next level, but they don't have like a reasoning behind why that school does that.
Yes,
So
sir.
to have that is so huge. Just you already know. You already know that's what's going to happen before you even step foot on campus, at least long term. You've been there plenty of times, but long term. Was there anything specific just about, I mean, obviously that, but Billy Napier and just the Gators program taking over, it was a new process that they've implemented that put them over some of the others that you kind of locked your commitment down to Gainesville. Was there like a moment or anything that you said, yeah, this is the place for me?
Yes, sir. It was actually when I took my visit to USC. I had ended up committing before the visit to USC. So it's kind of like we already had it planned and stuff like that, flight spot. So I ended up taking the visit, and it was just kind of like a real moment that was like I was at USC, but I was still thinking about Florida. And like if it was like if I couldn't have made my decision, it would have been like I would have just been solely on USC this, USC, but I still had Florida on my mind, and that's how I kind of knew that it was the place to be. That I'm not just falling for all of the glamour and the lights and the glitz and glamour, all that stuff, but it's actually the place that I want to be. And that was kind of the selling factor for that.
Yeah. And since that point for you, you've become a fan favorite. Everybody who wears orange and blue loves them some DJ Lagway because that, you're the quarterback. You're the, guy that's supposed to bring them back. And I know that's a lot of pressure for someone your age. And I'm sure you've seen the expectations, the high bars that have been set for you. You got, dudes clamoring for you to start day one. You got dudes saying, oh, we're going to put him on the graphic for the 2024 schedule. And it's one of the hardest schedules in the nation in 2024, if not the hardest. Just all that jazz. Has that been overwhelming at all? And like, what have you done to kind of respond to some of that noise and just kind of say like, all right, I'm going to take care of my senior season. And then I'm going to get in and, try to figure everything out that I need to figure out.
No, it hasn't been hard at all. It's like I feel like ever since a young kid, I've always had pressure. I feel like just like where I'm from, I've grown up in the spotlight, if that makes sense. Like, so I feel like I've like been through this, not to this magnitude. I feel like it's just leveling up every time. Like, so, but I feel like it's a blessing. I've been praying for this my whole life. I've been working for this my whole life. So like, why not? Like, I feel like God doesn't give you nothing that you can't handle. So I feel like if he's giving me this attention and all this, so I feel like I could do it. But yeah, mainly, the big thing right now is focusing on my senior year of high school. We got to finish out strong with the guys that I've grown up since I was 4 or 5 playing with. So that's the biggest thing for me, just going out strong with the guys right now.
Definitely. And one thing I just want to kind of discuss real quick, and honestly, we can make it longer if you want to, but you've said multiple times as we've been talking that you just have leaned on God, just made sure the kind of consulted with him, prayed to him. As a believer myself, how important is it to have just that faith while you go throughout this journey? Because like you said, there's so much that can go into it, but you've prayed for this. You've, feel that this is, your path. He's giving you this because he knows you can handle it. What does that kind of mean to you, just your faith in general?
Oh, it means everything to me, because without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. So I'll just say I give all glory to God, because like from the growth that I've had, like at my quarterback development, just spiritually and just the man I've become today, and just still so much development left in me. I'm just so thankful and blessed for it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at what your future, and I know that's always a hard question. It's an interview question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I know it's kind of hard to envision, but are you a goal guy? Do you kind of set out goals before the year, individually and team goals that you just kind of make sure that, okay, I'm going to accomplish these things? And if so, what are some goals for yourself in the next 5 months while you're at Willis and before you move to Florida?
I'd say the main goal right now is just win state. That's the biggest thing. I want to leave Willis better than I found it, and that's the biggest thing for any program I go to, especially when I get to Florida. You know, I want to leave it better than I found it, and that's just the goal. So I feel like just winning state and just giving Willis the notoriety that it deserves. Just a lot of talented athletes to come out of Willis and to come out of Willis. So that's the biggest thing for me is just to put my little town on the map and just go out there and win.
Right of Willis, Texas, right here.
Yes, sir.
Said you've had a lot of attention on you since you were little, and I talked a little bit to JP in California, and he was talking about how you've had offers to go elsewhere, kind of leave, but you've stayed true. Willis is your home. Willis is is you are Willis. What does it mean just getting to put on that purple for a final season this upcoming year? And I know I've talked about it a little bit, but just repping that team and getting to the opportunity to potentially lead them to that state title.
Man, it's a blessing. It's something I've always dreamed of, like since a kid, watching my older cousins, watching my older family members play in the purple and black, So it's a dream come true, honestly, too. I just feel like I'm just thankful for that opportunity. But I just want to, like I said, been playing with these kids since I was 5 or 6. So it's just like we want to go out there, dominate one last time together, and let's go get a ring.
For sure. Hey, go get it.
Yes, sir.
Go get it. And I don't want to rush through that process, but if you can look forward just into the beginning of 2024, what are you most excited about for your arrival in Gainesville? It's going to come in about just over 5 months, I'd assume. It's coming up quickly, but what are you? I know you probably haven't heard it like that yet, have you? I'm sorry to give you a little bit of shock there, but what are you excited about to make that move? Obviously, going from Texas to Gainesville, having you're jumping an hour forward, getting those little things. But I know you're accustomed to what the University of Florida provides, but just being there full time, what are you most excited for?
Just the development. That's the biggest thing. I don't care if I start the first game or 4th, 5th string. It doesn't really matter. I just want to continue to get better every single day. That's my biggest thing. If I feel like if I continue to get better and just continue to work hard and just be the best that I can be, I feel like the sky's the limit. So I just want to get better every single day. That's the biggest thing once I get there.
How do you feel Ryan O'Hara, Billy Napier, really everybody that's involved in the quarterback room at the University of Florida? They have a ton of them. Mm-hmm. That is one of the – it makes sense. That's the position you want a lot of guys at, want a lot of hands-on help from. How do you feel that they can kind of help you in that development process?
Oh, I feel like they're going to help me a lot, especially Coach O'Hara, man. Coach O'Hara is a football guru. Like, he knows the game inside and out. Like, I've learned so much from him just, now, that I just implement to my high school game and just teaching my guys, just little different things to help the game be so much easier and so much quicker. But I just can't wait to get there and learn from them. Like, I learn something every time I come down there. Go down there on a visit, so I just can't wait to get there.
Yeah, and before you go, we're almost reaching time here. I told you I'd only keep you for 30 minutes. We're going to go a little bit over that, and I apologize.
You're good.
But it's just I wanted to really kind of dive in and just talk to you, get to know about you, and just your football career, your life in general. But I'm sure you've seen the talk about Florida in 2023. The expectations are not necessarily high by any means. Do you have any expectations for what this Florida team could look like in 2023, or just anything you're looking to see from them as they kind of get into this final season without number 2 on their squad?
I feel like they look really good. I've been to a couple practices. I'm really excited for them this year. I feel like they're going to really surprise a lot of people. Without
a doubt. Is there, from the quarterback room, I know there's some question marks there, but just moving on from a guy we talked about earlier in Anthony Richardson to Graham Mertz, or it's I'm not, they haven't named it yet, but I've said multiple times on this show, it's Graham Mertz at that starting quarterback spot. He just carries the most experience. He just looks the most poised and most in control of the offense. How do you feel that change from an AR to a Graham Mertz? How smooth can that transition be?
You know, I feel like it's going to be very smooth. You know, Coach Napier's a great coach. I feel like he can make adjustments. So I'm just really excited to see how the offense is ran through Graham. And it's going to be really exciting to see him use the weapons he got on the offensive side with the receivers.
For sure. And is PJ DJ going to make any games this year?
Say it again?
Is PJ DJ going to make any games this year? Have you heard that nickname?
No, I ain't heard that nickname. Who that is?
So on Twitter, there are people that call you PJ DJ. Because you get from Texas to Florida so consistently.
Oh.
They let you use the private jet, so they call you private jet DJ.
Nah.
I know you don't, but I'm just that's your
That's
nickname.
funny. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
So I was just asking, are you going to try to get some games this year?
Oh, yes, sir. Most definitely. I'll be at a couple for sure.
Yeah. Gotcha. You got any locked in yet, or are you just going to kind of come as they go?
I'm kind of come as they go. I know I'm going to be at the Tennessee for sure. I know that Tennessee and the Florida State. I'm going to be at the big games for sure.
Definitely.
God willing, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad I got to share, a new nickname for you now. But I look forward to seeing you at both those games. I'll be there all year long. DJ, I really appreciate you coming on. First guest in show history. A great one at that. I wish you the best in this upcoming season. And it was a great time getting to chat with you about the future of Florida football. And I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And before everybody heads out, make sure to like and subscribe like this video, subscribe to Carroll's Cadence, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss content like this in the future. I'm Brandon Carroll. This is Carroll's Cadence. He's DJ Lagway, and we are out.